950 years, and the wind never answered until today. There was a man who stood on a hill for 950 years and called a name into the wind. And there were people below who held stones and would not let go. This is not a story about stubbornness. This is a story about two kinds of love that could not find each other's language. The man on the hill loved the one who sent him with everything he had. He said, leave the stones. He said, the one you're looking for is not in there. He meant it as a gift. He meant, I will show you something larger than anything you can hold. The people below loved something too. They couldn't name it, but when they held the stones, something in their chest went quiet. Something restless found a place to rest. They were not wrong to hold it. They just didn't know what they were holding. Two people on the same hill, calling the same name in languages that sounded like opposites. One pointed up, one pointed in. Neither knew they were pointing at the same place. The flood knew their names before it came. It did not come to punish, it came to translate. What 950 years of love could not. Nothing like him, and yet he hears, he sees. Both true, both necessary, both carried to the water and released. I have sat with the story for a long time. I used to think the man on the hill was right and the people below were wrong. Then I sat longer. What if the people below were holding the stone so tightly? Because the first time they held it, something looked back at them from inside it. Something that felt like being known. And the man on the hill was pointing them toward the same feeling with different words, and neither of them could hear the other. Because love makes you deaf to everything except the language you learned it in. Here is what happened when the water came. The man on the hill watched the water rise and thought, finally, they will let go of the stones. And the people in the water felt the stone dissolve in their hands, and for the first time felt the thing the stone had been holding pour into them directly. No container, no shape, no name, just the thing itself. And the man on the hill who had been pointing at that thing for 950 years was the last one to know that the flood had given them exactly what he had been trying to give them all along. The flood knew their names before it came. It did not come to punish, it came to translate. What 950 years of love could not. Nothing like him, and yet he hears, he sees. Both true, both necessary, both carried to the water and released. I think about the man on the hill after the water receded, standing on a new earth with 8 people, and the memory of everyone he called for almost 1,000 years. He said, Lord, Rabbi, not the name that changes, but the name that stays, the one still there when the flood takes everything you thought you were holding. He said, forgive me. He said, forgive those who entered my heart. He said, increase the dissolution of those who wrongs themselves. He thought he meant destroy them. The water had already heard differently. He called them coverers, Kafirun il-Kafirun. But covering is also what mercy does. Ghafar Allah, Ghafar Allah. The same root, the same gesture, hands over the face of something too bright to look at directly. He asked for their halak, their dissolution, their end. The water said yes and dissolved everything between them and the face they had been holding stones toward all along. He said, Lord, not because he understood, but because Lord is the name that holds you when you don't. The Fasr opens, El-Fajr Yadhar. The Kafar closes, El-Kafar Yastar. Open, close, open, close. This is the breath of existence itself. The flood knew their names before it came. It did not come to punish, it came to translate. Nothing like him, and yet he hears, he sees. Both hands, one face, released into the same water, arriving at the same shore. He who knows himself knows his Lord. The man on the hill knew himself. The people below knew themselves. The flood knew them both. And somewhere in the place where the water met the stone, they finally knew each other. Fades to silence.